Hey everybody, Lloyd here with Just Got Played, and today I'm going to be doing a game review. This is going to be for G.I. Joe deck building game, Shadow of the Serpent Expansion, and I'm not going to go over the full gameplay video. I am going to go over the new stuff that's in the game, so let's head down to the table and I'll show you how the new stuff works. Alright, so I'm going to show you the new things that are in the Shadow of the Serpent Expansion. I'm not going to go over the whole game and how to play. But these are the new elements that add a little bit something different to the game. So I figure I'd go over this stuff. So first off, we have the command center. So all of these tiles are double-sided. They have a destroyed side, which shows you what they can do, but has a line through it showing you that you can't use it until you build this particular tile. The cost on it is here. And if you notice, the cost has wings, along with these two new transports, which also have these little wings on them. And so that wings on the cost, that is a new group cost. So multiple people can put in cards to pay for this, similar to how you help each other on missions. So as you see, they have a varying range of cost from 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And they, like I said, they all have a destroyed side. So if we just go over them real quick and see what they all do, we'll start with the 6. So you have the repair bay. And so basically what this allows you to do is every time you use a transport, instead of putting it into your deck, into your discard pile and it going back into your deck, you instead put it in the repair bay. And then at the end of the round, these cards are going to go right back to the hanger. So there's no more clogging up your deck. Going next, we have the stockade. So see here, this is one of the new baddies. This is Serpentor. He is one of the new officers. So what the stockade allows you to do is once you defeat an officer, you can place them underneath the stockade so that they can be locked up for the rest of the game. The only time that they can come back out is if a story mission actually says to bring them back out. So complications cannot bring them out. Next up, going in order, the next one costs 8 is the battle station. And this gives you, on group missions, it gives you 1 free reroll, which is very nice. Next up, we have the laser cannon. And on side mission, this just gives you 1 free additional die to roll, which is pretty cool. And the command room, which is 10. This says if none of these other things are covered up, and covered not by these guys, but by ninjas, which I'll show you in a second here, then everyone basically at the end of their turn will get to draw 1 additional card. So you'll draw 6 cards instead of 5. So the new troopers in the game are these ninja, and there's a lot more of them, but I just grabbed 3 to show you. What these guys do is whenever complications or even some of the leaders and some of the story missions tell you, you're going to put these guys into the command center, and they're going to cover up a particular tile. So in this particular case, the way you add them to it is, unless it gives you a specific room to cover up, you basically start with the highest cost room and work your way down. So first you would put 1 over the command center, which is going to stop you from getting any extra cards. Then you would go to the laser cannon, and then you go to the battle station. They only cover up destroyed rooms. So if the command center was destroyed, right, instead of going to the command room, they would instead go to the laser cannon, then the battle station, then the stockade. And once they cover a room up, you can't use that room. So you can no longer put anybody in the stockade. However, they don't free anyone from the stockade. So anyone locked up there stays there. If they come over here to the hangar or to the repair bay, then those vehicles are locked until you can defeat this ninja. So you won't get them back. They'll just be stranded there. So at some points during the game, these will get destroyed. So the only ones that really matter that have any repercussions are if the stockade gets destroyed, any leaders that were in there, any of the officers, basically go back to the officer stack. If the repair bay gets destroyed whenever there are vehicles on it,
the vehicles just go right back to the hangar, and this gets destroyed. So they will come right back to you. So not a major deal, but you just got to remember that. So that is the downside of letting things get destroyed, but they're the only ones that really have any lasting effects. Also, if a room gets destroyed because a ninja destroys it, or a story mission destroys it, the ninja will just go away and go back to the stack of ninjas, and you don't have to worry about fighting that ninja, but your room is destroyed. So there you have it. Those are the differences, the new mechanics that are in the Shadow of the Serpent expansion. So let's go back up to the table and see what I thought about it.
Okay, so now that we know how the new mechanisms in the game work, the command center, group buying, and some of the new bad guys that are in the game, let's get into what we like and what we didn't like. So first off, what I really like about the game is I really like the command center. It adds an extra layer of depth to the game, gives you something else to do. So when there's some quiet time, or maybe there's some cards you don't want to buy, you can invest in those command center tiles. I do like that in both scenarios that they've included in the game. One of them starts with the generic setup with everything face down, and you have to recruit everything. And the other one starts specifically the Arishikage mission. That one starts specifically with everything in play, ready to go, except it's infested with ninjas, right? So I do like how that works. The extra tiles that are there. You have the tile that basically gives you one extra die on side missions, which is great. You have the one that lets you park the vehicles there when you're done, so they don't go back into your deck. So it serves like a dual purpose, right? Like it doesn't clog up your deck with those vehicles going back into it, but it also gets them back to the round faster, right? Like it gets them back in the game faster. So you're not so hesitant to take that vehicle now because it's going to come back at the end of the round versus waiting for you to get all the way through your pile. And then after you shuffle it back in, you still have to draw it. And then that card also, like, it takes you down a card per the turn because you draw 5 and then one of the 5 is the vehicle. So it's really cool that they have that little parking space in there. Speaking of which, the extra card draw is also very awesome. So it brings you up to a 6-card hand as long as none of the other tiles are covered up by ninjas. The ability to lock away officers after you've defeated them is really cool. It stops them from coming back again and again and again, unless the story mission pulls them out. But the complications aren't going to, because it can be really painful whenever you get like a complication and it says, like put Destro into play. And then you defeat him and you shuffle those complications back up. And then the first one you get is put Destro back into play. So if you beat him and you've got that stockade locked up, open, you can lock him up in there. So I really like the command center. That kind of couples in with the new Cobra troopers that they've given us, the ninjas. And those are really cool because they serve like a dual purpose. Not only are they a little bit harder to defeat than regular Cobra Cobra troopers, but they don't necessarily come directly to you as a player. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to hop into the command center and try to shut it down, which is really cool because it gives you somewhere else to focus. So now you can have Cobra battalions covering the lineup. You can have side missions. You can have Cobra troopers in your deck, and you can have Cobra troopers, the ninjas, in the command center. But if the command center gets filled, guess what? Those ninjas start coming after you. So then they kind of spill over. So I really like that extra new mechanism they've added with that new bad guy. Because a lot of times in the base game, there were a lot of very quiet turns where there was just nothing really happening. There was no battalions out because Major Blood hadn't showed up. There were no Cobra Troopers in your deck, or maybe they are in your deck, but they're just in your discard, so you can't get to them yet. And there's no side missions because the complications are just putting officers into play. And then once you've defeated those officers, you really have nothing else to do except go after the main mission. And if you don't have any officers in play and you knock out that mission and you haven't put any side missions, so the first couple rounds, which is nice, makes it quiet, it can lead to a lot of like kind of down turns where you don't feel like you've done anything, especially when you get all of your little GIs that give you attack, and you get your reroll, and like, well, now I'm not going to get my reroll on the next one because I drew it on this turn, right? So that is very nice that there is something extra to do in the game. I also like the new kind of the theme of the game, which is they included a lot of martial arts characters in this. You've got a playable Storm Shadow, which is very cool. They put the ninjas in, and then they also put a lot of characters into the Joe deck that have martial arts as a backup, as one of the powers. So that is, I really like the martial arts feel because G.I. Joe did get really heavy with ninjas and martial artists, and I kind of wish they put some more in, but I do like the new character lineup. And one of the things I really do like are the two new vehicles. The two new vehicles are really cool. They both have like a very special function, and it makes it really cool. So you have the bridge layer, which you can use that mission, that vehicle, and the Joes on that mission that are in that vehicle, and you can take them to a second mission on the same turn, which is really cool. It gives you the ability to use those Joes twice. So it makes it easier to commit a bunch of Joes from your hand if you can possibly take out a couple missions. And then the C-130, the Hercules, I think it's called. That one's really cool. It allows you to take a land. Not only does it carry like 50 Joes, but it takes one of the tank, one of the land vehicles that has the tank symbol on it, and it takes that with it, and you get to use that tank, that vehicle's bonus in addition to all the Joes you bring. So that's really cool, and it's very thematic, right? Because the C-130 is kind of it carries troops and supplies, and they put full vehicles in it. I think like the C-130, they can put like a Chinook helicopter inside of it. So you can like, spit out another helicopter. So that's really cool. So yeah, overall, I like a lot of the stuff that's in here. So now let's just go ahead and move on to the dislikes. I like that they gave us Storm Shadow. I wish they would have given us a few more popular Joes in the deck. They gave a handful, but where's my quick kick? You went into the martial arts and you didn't add quick kick. I mean, you even have Shuriken as one of the new gear, and I mean, Quick Kit's wearing right on that little sash he wears. He's got the little Shuriken in there. I miss my Quick Kick. So, I mean, we do have a lot of the martial arts characters, but I wish they would have put more Joes. And I get that they're probably drawing from the comic books and stuff, but some of the Joes that are in there, I've never even heard of. I mean, and I, as a kid, I had, hundreds of G.I. Joes. It was my favorite cartoon. It was my favorite toy line. I had hundreds of Joes and vehicles galore, and some of these people I've never heard of before. So I wish they would put some more recognizable Joes, which I guess, they got to save them for other expansions, because I assume they're going to do other expansions. And I just wish they would have put more in this one. One of the other things that I didn't particularly like is it's those tiles for the command center. they have a really big tile on the left, right? To put, that's the hangar bay, or the maintenance bay, so you can put your vehicles in there. And it's cool. It's big. It holds the cards. On the far right, they have the battle station, or whatever, and that one is basically just has, get a reroll. And then in the middle, on these tiny little tiles that are about half the size of a card, they have the stockade. And the stockade is where you're supposed to tuck, the bad guys underneath this little tile. And I think it's just poor planning and execution, because the tile is tiny. So when you go to slide a card in under it, you end up jostling everything around. You have to, it's very finicky. You have to kind of mess with it. I would have preferred if that big tile on the right-hand side was the place to stick them. Because number one, you could either just lay them on top, just put them face down, whatever. Or you could easily slide them in from the side underneath, but it's not in the middle and it's not small. And it really would make better use of the space. The two pieces that hold cards are, actually bigger than the cards. So it's a nitpick, but it's as you're tucking stuff under and moving stuff around, it's just very finicky. And, like I said, you move the little tiles around everywhere. I think that's really it for the stuff I didn't like. Like I said, I wish they gave us some more Joes. I wish they would have given us some more vehicles. We only got 2 vehicles. We did get a couple more baddies. So we got Serpentor and Firefly and Dr. Venom. Again, I kind of wish they would put some more, at least a couple more Cobra officers in there. Like where are the twins? Where are the rest of the dreadnoughts? I assume they'll come up with a specific box that's tailored to Tomax and Zammot, and maybe the one centered around the dreadnoughts, right? But I miss them. So a lot of my dislike for this box is just the things that I didn't get that I know are probably coming down the line. I just wish they would have given us more. But that being said, it is a small box. There wasn't much in it in terms of new things. It was a single deck of cards. We got two new playable heroes, which now we have a Hawk that's a leader that you can play, and then there's a Hawk card that's in the deck, which is kind of odd. And then they also, in the promo, they gave us a solo Snake Eyes and a stealthy Scarlet. So now again we have playable Snake Eyes, and if you got the promo, like I said, you have the solo Snake Eyes, and you have these. I don't know. It kind of breaks the immersion whenever you have, hey, I'm Snake Eyes, but I'm gonna recruit Snake Eyes into my deck as well if I'm another player. So it's a little wonky, but overall, I really like everything this set did. I just wish we got more. So yeah, that's my take on G.I. Joe Shadow of the Serpent. One quick thing I did notice is I didn't play all the missions, but I did go through all the missions, and there are no Attack on Big Ben type missions, which are story missions that are the final act card that you have to play and that are nearly impossible to beat. So the Big Ben one is notoriously bad in that it brings out Zartan. Zartan can't be defeated by the cards in play, and Zartan makes you roll the exact number, otherwise you fail. And when you fail, you just gain another complication, and the card stays in play, that mission. And there's nothing to that level in here. Everything seems to be fairly beat. There's nothing to that level that's just gonna, make you lose the game because you keep rolling against it and you can't defeat it because, you're not rolling good. So that is a positive. I know I've been kind of all over the place with pros and cons, but I started thinking of things as I was listing off cons. But yeah, so that's it. That's my review. I think it's awesome. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, you owe it to yourself to get it. It is really cool. And yeah, that's it. So as always, check the description notes down at the bottom for links to all of our social media. Come chat with us on Discord, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can participate in polls to vote on videos you want to see us do. We have polls up for our gaming through mechanisms, so you can chime in and get your pick for the game you want to see us talk about on into one of the video series. And we also run contests. So head on over to the Discord and look into the contest tab, because we're constantly running contests. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and always happy gaming.